So, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I was very excited for this game from the moment it was announced, because it just looks so different from any 2D Mario game we had ever gotten before. I grew up in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but over time I have really fallen out of love with them because they're just so incredibly generic and boring. They have not aged well, and it really soured my opinion on 2D Mario games for a long time. I still return to the original Super Mario World pretty often, so if a new 2D Mario game was able to match that level of quality, I would be pretty pleased. Somehow, Super Mario Bros. Wonder takes the foundation set by Super Mario World and manages to surpass it in a ton of ways. The graphics are beautiful, the music is fantastic, but the game's most incredible aspect is that the level design takes the basic elements of 2D Mario gameplay and takes them to their fullest extent. From the very first level to the very last, the Wonder Flowers make this game unlike any Mario game you have ever played, or even any other 2D game that I've ever played. Level designs are able to do basically whatever the developers want, and they push it to the extreme. If you thought there were rules to Mario level design, be prepared to throw that idea right out the window. You can never predict what this game is going to bring to the table, because it is constantly changing, but it's never in an obtrusive way. This game has a ton of very different mechanics, from becoming a rolling ball, to transforming into a slime, to walking on the walls in the background, to riding on a stampede of buffalo, and so many more. But none of these mechanics are ever obnoxious, because they're pretty relatively simple to figure out. This game has barely any tutorial pop-ups, because it trusts the player enough to be able to figure out how to use these mechanics, and I think that is so admirable. And it's because this game has so many varied mechanics that it never becomes a slog. It's always introducing new things, but they never overstay their welcome because the levels are really short. I can't remember a level in this game that went too far beyond 5 minutes long or so, but that really isn't a bad thing because there are so many levels in this game. I feel like I got a lot of value out of this game, but it still says that I missed some of the levels, and I didn't even bother to do the special world, so there is still quite a lot of content to do. I very rarely feel the desire to go back and 100% complete a game, but I feel it for this game really easily, and I might go do that once I'm done with this video. This is, without a doubt, the best gameplay a 2D Mario game has had since Super Mario World, and it honestly might be better than that game for me, depending on my mood. But a Mario game is not built just on its gameplay, but its graphics and sound as well. Graphically, this game is gorgeous. The Switch had a really difficult 2023, with a lot of terrible ports that showcase the limits of its aging hardware. Super Mario Bros. Wonder avoids all of that, presenting a beautiful game that is clearly built around those limits instead of trying to force past them. On the technical end, the resolution is really consistent, and I never noticed any huge frame rate drops outside of a weird drop that occurs when you close the map menu, but honestly that barely affected my enjoyment of the game. So the game runs well, but what really makes it stand out is its visual design. The art style of this game is beautiful! New Super Mario Bros. Settled into a very generic and boring style that ended up defining the Mario series for years, and I think it's aged incredibly poorly. Even after raising the resolution on an emulator, these games just look bad because they're bland and boring to look at. They tried to turn my boy Mario into Mickey Mouse, and I just can't support that. Mario Wonder throws all that out the window and into the stratosphere by including a new, significantly more cartoony art style that fits Mario extremely well. The character models are still clearly identifiable as the characters they're meant to be, but it's all presented in a brand new and super charming way. Proportions have been tweaked, animations have been changed, and it all comes together to create one of the most unique Mario games we've seen in a while. My favorite aspect has to be the poses that the characters do while performing actions like running or jumping, which are direct references to the key art from the old Mario manuals. Design-wise, this game's incredible, but it's also extremely colorful. This is one of the most eye-searingly colorful games I've seen in a while. Everything just pops off the screen. If the Switch 2 supports high dynamic range and this game gets updated to support it, expect your eyeballs to melt off. If the art style of this game becomes the art style for the entire series moving forward, I will not complain at all. I love it. On the musical end, it's a great soundtrack. It isn't my favorite Mario soundtrack, but it's definitely up there. What this game accomplishes with its level design, it also accomplishes with the soundtrack, going in just completely weird and crazy directions for a Mario game, like a cappella or even hard rock at a few points. A lot of classic Mario tunes show up as usual, but are remixed into new arrangements that make them feel brand new. There were a few songs that I found a bit annoying, like the new athletic theme, but overall, I really enjoyed this soundtrack. And while we're talking about audio, we simply have to talk about the new voice actors. A lot of the characters have received new voice actors, and I honestly thought that they did an excellent job. They're different, but they're not different in a bad way. They're worthy successors to the legends who came before, particularly Kevin Afghani taking over for Charles Martinet as Mario and Luigi. He plays those characters as much younger and more energetic, and I felt like it really worked for this game and for the characters in general. If this is the version of Mario we're going to get for years to come, I'm perfectly happy with that. Overall, the sound is fantastic across the board. As far as my problems and criticisms with this game, I'm honestly struggling to find anything super substantial, because this game was just a total joyride the entire way through. It isn't some monumental, massive achievement like something like Baldur's Gate 3 or I suppose Spider-Man 2 from 2023, but what it just does extremely well. I think my only giant issue is that the game is a bit easy, because the harder challenges only come in towards the end of the game. But to make up for that, this game is also a lot more focused on exploration, so if you're going for all the purple coins and everything, the challenge honestly does jump up a little bit. It could also be because I'm old and jaded and I've played way too many video games, and now Mario is becoming really easy for me, and oh my god, the end is coming! Beyond that though, I absolutely loved every aspect of this game. It was a smooth, fun playthrough. Not too long, but not too short. Level designs are super innovative and make me extremely optimistic for the future of this franchise. It's graphically beautiful, runs extremely well, sounds great, and is just so much fun. It's a wonderful game. See what I did there? I'm sure nobody's made that joke before. If you haven't given Super Mario Bros. Wonder a shot yet, it is honestly worth your money, even at full price. In a way, I've been waiting over 20 years for this game to come out, and I'm super glad that it finally did. If you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell. It really helps out the channel. My name's NightParadox, and I hope that you all have a good night.